Java, C++, PHP, JavaScript. It all can seem overwhelming if you're learning development. I'm going to show you the languages that will actually get you a job as a new developer in 2021. Welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you the job data for a number of different languages and technologies. At the end of this video, you'll understand the job market for different languages and skills and be able to make an educated choice about what you should learn to secure that coding job in 2021. My name is Mark Lassoff, and I've taught coding and design to over 2 million people online, in the corporate classroom, and in informal education programs all over the world. My company, Framework, has certified thousands of new digital creators in web development, mobile, and digital design. If you're someone who's seeking to become a digital professional, like a web developer, digital designer, or mobile app creator, please subscribe now. Don't forget to hit the little bell so you're alerted to each new video we publish. You'll hear a lot from developers about what languages or libraries you should learn and which aren't that important. But honestly, a lot of this discussion is based around feelings and shiny object syndrome. Developers are naturally curious and love learning new things. So new technologies catch their attention, and sometimes older technologies, the one that developers are actually using, aren't discussed as much. This can give new developers a misimpression about what's important to learn and what can get them an actual job. Since opinions are like buttholes, everyone's got one and they all stink, I wanted to use actual data for this video. So I went to Indeed.com and looked at the data for some of the most common technologies that people are hiring for. I also looked at the number of jobs that are specifically earmarked for entry-level developers. That means that they take people looking for their first job. Now, this data is by no means comprehensive or complete. Looking at the number of jobs and job titles is really only a limited set of data. Here's an example. The title front-end developer would require the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript skill set. So there's lots of overlap between front-end developer and HTML. As a new developer, you may qualify for multiple titles. As I go through the data, remember, we're focused on beginners here. And due to that, I've left a few technologies out that I don't really recommend for new developers. While the data isn't comprehensive, it's better than working without data. So let's take a look at the demand for different languages and technologies. That should give you a good idea of what to learn in 2021. We'll start with where I found the least demand and finish with the languages that have the most demand. Here we go. I'm not surprised that there was limited demand for Unity and Unreal Engine. These are specialized game development engines that use the C# programming language to develop games and multimedia. Between Unity and competitor Unreal Engine, there were about 2,200 jobs listed nationwide, with only 400 of these jobs being open to new developers. If you're interested in entry-level jobs in game development, look into Unity and Unreal Engine. C++, which we'll talk about in a bit, is also used quite a bit in game development, but I still recommend the game engines if you're entry-level. Next on the lower demand side of things was Ruby on Rails. A few years ago, Ruby on Rails, a framework based on the Ruby language for building applications, was all the rage. If you paid attention to the developer chatter online, everyone was talking about it. Apparently nobody was actually using it. There were a paltry 2,800 Ruby on Rails jobs advertised, with 433 of these jobs being available to entry-level developers. I think Ruby on Rails paints an important lesson for us to learn. Just because a language or technology is getting a lot of online press doesn't mean it's a safe bet for a long-term job. Needless to say, I wouldn't make learning Ruby on Rails a priority for 2021. Next on the list was the job title Server-Side Developer, which had 4,185 open jobs, with 525 open to new developers. Server-side developer jobs were the least available to entry-level developers on our list. I think a lot of these jobs labeled as server-side developer were actually enterprise-level jobs that involve complex server coding and a large team. These jobs are generally suited to computer science college graduates. PHP, however, is what I sometimes call server-side light. It's a very frequently deployed server-side language that's starting to show its age and lose out to newer technologies like Node.JS. There are a semi-significant number of PHP jobs available, just under 9,000, with a full 21% of these jobs open to new developers. Node.JS would be a PHP competitor and is next. There are about the same number of Node.js jobs as there are PHP jobs, but fewer of them, just about 13%, are available to new developers. There's a good reason to learn Node, however, as the language uses the same syntax as JavaScript and is usually a quick study if you already know front-end development. The title front-end developer is next, with about the same number of jobs as PHP. For front-end developer jobs, there were 1,625 available to entry-level developers. I wonder how much crossover there is with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, a category that's coming up. Since front-end development is made up of these three languages, I'm not sure how many jobs appear in both categories. Angular is a popular framework for developing web applications. Remember, a framework is a comprehensive system for building apps. A library simply provides tools for working with a specific language. Angular has a reasonable number of jobs for a framework at 14,478. Less than 15% of the Angular jobs are available at the entry level, so this may be something that you pursue after you have some initial experience. Full stack developers work on the client side and the server side, the front end and the back end. Full stack is a popular title, and many startups are looking for full stack developers because of their versatility. If you want to work full stack, you have to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, plus a back-end language like PHP or Node.js, which I discussed earlier. If you're interested in startups especially, I'd add the full stack of languages to your learning list for this year. Next in order of demand is the .NET series of languages. .NET is a development framework from Microsoft, focused on the Windows family of products. .NET projects are frequently enterprise-level projects run on Microsoft Azure servers. Microsoft is an ecosystem unto itself, and if you learn .NET, you can command a very high salary, as this is one of the highest-paying technologies. C++ is next, and I mentioned C++ earlier when discussing game development. There are 35,551 C++ jobs currently listed, and a full 19% of these jobs are available to entry-level devs. C++ is used a lot for games, but also for IoT, or Internet of Things apps. If that interests you, C++ is the way to go. There are a significant number of open jobs at the entry level, and the technology used in IoT is not likely to change soon. The downside is you might be writing microcode for a thermostat or a light bulb, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Before I get on to our final four, I wanted to ask, what are you learning this year? You can respond with just the name of the language or technology in the comments below, or provide a little more information about why you're learning that technology, and whether you expect to get a job working in that area. And now, on to our final four. With 51,000 available jobs, the HTML, CSS, JavaScript stack is next. I was actually surprised to learn that only 15% of these jobs are marked entry level, but that's still almost 8,000 available jobs. That's pretty good considering these three technologies can be learned in just a few months. Here's where it gets interesting. React was the fastest growing library in 2020, and it's next. React is a JavaScript library, so you'll need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript first, but there are 57,127 open React jobs. Now hold on to your seat. Over half these jobs, 52%, are available to entry-level developers. While it doesn't have the highest aggregate demand, that makes React our winner. So if you're learning this year HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then the React library is the way to go. With 29,587 open entry-level jobs, your chances of landing something are quite good, and it's not as long of a haul to learn React if you already know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. There are still two job categories with a larger number of overall jobs posted. Java has 61,000 jobs posted, but just 14% of these are entry-level positions. I'm not a big fan of Java as an entry-level language. I think you'll find that most of these jobs go to college graduates with computer science degrees. While there are many jobs, I think Java is better to look at once you have some experience in one of the other job categories we've discussed. And now, the winner for the most jobs posted total was Python. 72,023 Python jobs are now available, and of these, just under 12,600 are entry-level positions. Python is growing because of the huge interest in big data and data science. Python is frequently used for data analysis, and you'll find a healthy number of positions are in this area. There are lots of great options for learning Python, and if data is your thing, I'd recommend learning the relatively easy Python programming language this year. I know I've thrown a lot of numbers at you. This data was accurate as of January 2021. If you'd like to see the raw data, you can click the link below in the description to open the spreadsheet that I made. I do hope you find it helpful. I really hope that you found this data useful. If so, would you hit the like button for this video? Also, please do subscribe to our channel so you can get future videos as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. By the way, we offer all sorts of free training opportunities on our website at frameworktv.com. There, you can click the button that says Join for free, and we'll send you new exclusive coding and digital design training content each week. I'll see you next time. I'm Mark Lassoff.